Hello, you're watching the English News Bulletin on QPVN channel. I'm Châu Nguyễn, and now let me keep you up to date with the headlines. President LUONG receives high-level delegations from Laos and Cambodia. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính meets with Malaysian businesses. Vietnam and Singapore boost cooperation to expand halal market. On the morning of May the 25th, President LUONG received high-level delegations from Laos and Cambodia who came to Vietnam to pay their respects and attend the funeral ceremony for former President Trần Đức Lương. The two heads of delegations expressed their appreciation for the contributions of former President Trần Đức Lương to the Vietnam-Laos and Vietnam-Cambodia relations. Receiving the high-level delegation of the Lao Party and State, led by Vice President of Laos Pani Yathotu, President LUONG sincerely thanked the Lao People's Revolutionary Party Central Committee, the National Assembly, the government, and the Lao Front for National Construction for sending condolences over the passing of former state president. He also expressed appreciation for the presence of the Lao delegation. For her part, Mrs. Pani Yathotu emphasized that former President Trần Đức Lương passing was a great loss to the party, state, people of Vietnam and his family. The Lao Party, state, and people have also lost a comrade and a great friend. She affirmed that Laos always remembers and appreciates the deep affection and significant contribution of former state President Trần Đức Lương to consolidating and strengthening the great friendship, special solidarity, and comprehensive cooperation between the two countries. At the reception for Mrs. Men Sam An, Vice President of the Cambodian People's Party, who is also President of the National Council for Solidarity Front for the Development of Cambodia, Motherland, and Chairwoman of the Cambodia-Vietnam Friendship Association, President LUONG extended heartfelt thanks to King Norodom Sihamoni, President of the CPP and President of the Senate Hun Sen, and other senior Cambodian leaders for their condolences and for sending a delegation to pay respects to the former Vietnamese leader. He also said that this gesture reflects Cambodia's sincere affection for and close-knit bond with Vietnam and the deceased personally. The Cambodian leader extended her deepest condolences to the party, state, and people of Vietnam, as well as to the bereaved family. She highlighted significant contributions by former President Trần Đức Lương to Vietnam's national construction and development, adding that Cambodia will always remember and appreciate his great dedications to promoting the close friendship between the two countries and their peoples. In deep grief for the passing of former President Trần Đức Lương, Vietnamese embassies in many countries, together with representatives of diplomatic agencies, international organizations, and friends, solemnly held memorial ceremonies for former President Trần Đức Lương. In the condolence book, the first Secretary of the Communist Party of Cuba Central Committee and President of Cuba, Miguel Díaz-Canel Bermudez, expressed that Mr. Trần Đức Lương passing left an immense pain for the people of Cuba and Vietnam. On behalf of the party, state, and people of Cuba, he sent his deepest condolences to the party, state, and people of Vietnam and the family of former President Trần Đức Lương. In the condolence book, the local representatives and embassies of countries in Italy expressed their sorrow at the passing of former President Trần Đức Lương and sent their deepest condolences to his family, as well as to the party, state, and people of Vietnam. On behalf of the government and people of Myanmar, the ambassador of Myanmar to Italy wrote, "We would like to express our deepest condolences to the government and people of Vietnam. The tireless and dedicated contribution, as well as remarkable leadership by former President Trần Đức Lương to the country, was truly a historical legacy, inspiring future generations. May his great soul rest in eternal peace." Writing in the condolence book, the Lao ambassador to the UK expressed his respect and condolences for the passing of former President Trần Đức Lương, emphasizing that the former president's dedication and contributions to Vietnam and the friendship and solidarity between Vietnam and Laos will be remembered forever by the people of the two countries. Representatives of the embassies of Russia, Cambodia, Cuba, the International Maritime Organization, representatives of Vietnamese associations in the UK, including the Association of Vietnamese, the Association of Business, the Vietnamese Students Association, also came to pay their respect to the former president, showing their respect and condolences to the outstanding leader of Vietnam, who had made marked contributions to foreign affairs and the work towards overseas Vietnamese. Moving on to other noticeable news. As part of his official visit to Malaysia on May the 25th in Kuala Lumpur, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính met with Malaysian businesses and business associations to promote investment and trade cooperation in Vietnam. During his meeting with Mr. Dato Chao Siwa, chairman of CAMBODIA Land and senior leaders of the group, which has invested over $5 billion in infrastructure, construction, and real estate in Vietnam, the Prime Minister emphasized Vietnam's encouragement for foreign investors with advanced technologies and experience to take part in infrastructure development, especially in building modern, green, and smart cities. He encouraged CAMBODIA Land to expand investment, develop new business models, and share its experience in smart city operations with Vietnamese authorities and businesses. He affirmed that the Vietnamese government will continue to create favorable conditions for Malaysian investors in accordance with law. Meeting with Mr. Tony Fernandez, founder and chairman of Capital A, currently operating 346 weekly flights on 17 routes connecting Vietnam and other ASEAN countries, the Prime Minister proposed increasing flight frequencies to strengthen business ties and tourism between the two countries. He also invited Capital A to explore cooperation opportunities with Vietnamese partners and share experience in applying technology and efficient fleet management to reduce financial costs and emissions, aiming for green and sustainable growth. Meeting with Mr. Anthony Tan, CEO and co-founder of Grab, and senior executives of the group, which provides transportation, delivery, and digital payment services across Southeast Asian countries and is currently operating in 50 provinces and cities in Vietnam. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính welcomed Grab's efforts in supporting the digital transformation process among Vietnamese people and businesses through the provision of AI-powered tools. He called on Grab to continue expanding its investment, pioneering new digital business models, and share its management experience with Vietnamese agencies and enterprises to foster sustainable cooperation and development. Homes sometimes are more than shelters. They represent comradeship and national unity. Recently, in Xuân Tây Commune, Cẩm Mỹ District, Đồng Nai Province, Naval Region 2 Command, together with Vu A Dinh Scholarship Fund and sponsors, presented a comradely house to the family of an officer facing hardship, a touching gesture that reflects the spirit of leaving no one behind. Today, Tùng and Ngọc are happy as they no longer have to live in a cramped rental after years of struggling. Earlier, we had to rent a house. My wife worked shift and our parents gave us a piece of land. We saved up and thanks to support from the local authorities in my unit, we now have a home. It helps me focus on my duty. The house was funded by military and civilian units. It is a practical gift showing gratitude and reinforcing the principle of care and solidarity. This is part of a key policy of the party, state, and Ministry of National Defense. With support from sponsors and companies, these houses help our soldiers stabilize their lives and stay committed to protecting our sea and islands. Our Vu A Dinh Scholarship Fund has funded the construction of over 100 houses for people who contributed to the nation but are in difficult situations. These houses help soldiers stabilize their family lives and feel reassured in defending our maritime sovereignty. As the wife of a military officer, sacrifices are part of our lives, but we always hope he performed his duty well. Receiving this house is very emotional. I sincerely thank the party and the state for caring about soldiers' lives. This support gives us peace of mind while he dedicates himself to the country. This new house is not just a fresh start from the family. It is a meaningful bridge between the army and the people. For Dong's family, it is a driving force. For the sailors of Naval Region 2, each home given is a testament to enduring comradely bonds and the timeless spirit of Uncle Hu's soldiers.
Coming up next, Vietnam and Singapore boost cooperation to expand halal market. Vietnam's mangoes gain strong foothold in Chinese market. The Vietnam Trade Office in Singapore, Vietnam National Halal Certification Center, Maybank Singapore, and Down Horizon PTE Ltd recently co-organized the Vietnam-Singapore Halal Trade Seminar. The hybrid event was held in person at the Directorate for Standards, Metrology and Quality in Vietnam and Maybank Tower in Singapore, combined with an online session via Zoom, attracting over 170 participants from both countries.
The seminar aimed to highlight Vietnam's advantages in producing halal-certified products and attract foreign investment into halal-related industries, including joint ventures, cross-border certifications recognition, logistics, and import-export activities. In 2023, the Prime Minister approved the project on enhancing international cooperation to build and develop Vietnam's halal industry by 2030, with clear goals and solutions. Singapore has strong experience in halal trade and a highly regarded certification system recognized by Muslim-majority nations like Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, and major partners such as the UAE, Australia, Europe, and the US. Thanks to these advantages, Singapore is an ideal gateway for halal products to enter global markets via its advanced logistics and financial systems. From Hanoi, Dr. Nguyễn Thiện Nghĩa, Vice President of STAMIQ, affirmed that the 2025 Vietnam-Singapore Halal Trade Seminar is meaningful as ASEAN strengthens regional economic integrations and explores new markets. Vietnam has made key progress in developing a legal framework and standard system for the halal sector. As the national standards body, STAMIQ pledges to support businesses and certification bodies to create a favorable environment for Vietnam's sustainable halal economic growth.
I understand that Vietnam is expanding the halal industry, which I think is very remarkable, understanding that the population of Muslims in Vietnam is very small. But I do guess that the government of Vietnam see that there is a lot of potential in the halal industry, and Singapore and Vietnam has been working together in many platforms.
The seminar concluded with business networking sessions where Vietnamese and Singaporean enterprises explored collaboration opportunities to further grow the halal market.
Vietnam's mangoes currently account for 97% of the import market share in China, far surpassing those of such competitors as Thailand, Peru, Australia, Cambodia, and the Philippines.
According to China's customs, in the first quarter of this year, the country spent $29 million importing mangoes from 6 countries, 21 times higher than the same period last year. Amidst the fall of mango imports from the other 5 markets into China, Vietnam became a bright spot when both its output and export value of mango increased sharply. Specifically, Vietnam exported nearly 40,700 tons of mangoes to China, earning $28 million, a 145-fold increase in value. Currently, Vietnam accounts for 97% of the market share of imported mangoes in China, far surpassing Thailand, a traditional major supplier to China, which has now fallen to 5th place with a turnover of only $65,000, down 70% compared to the same period last year.
And that's all for now. Remember, you can always watch the news again at QPVN.vn. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.